Hi, I'm Simon and this is a video about the Steam sale, the 2012 Black Friday sale. And I picked up some really good games for some of them next to nothing. I just thought I'd like to share with you guys because I haven't been able to do any pickup videos because I can't physically get my hands on that much. I can't get my hands on any cheap second-hand games here. There's plenty of copied fake games, but I don't really want to buy those. So my other avenue is through Steam, getting downloaded content. And with this sale, it's meant that I've been able to get my hands on some good games at very, very cheap prices. Now, the reason I was paying such close attention to the sale and why I found so many good things through it is I was looking to get XCOM Enemy Unknown. Now, many of you who watch my videos will know how much I love the original game, and I'm very excited to play the reboot of it because it had a lot of good press, and although many fans of the original said it's not the same, but it's still very, very good and well worth a play. And I was hoping, as you often see with these Steam sales, 75% off. I know it's a new game and it was very unlikely to see it at that price, and I didn't see it at that price, but I was hoping to, and that's why I kept coming back day after day, keeping an eye on all of these flash sales that they were having, hoping that I could pick it up. Although I didn't manage to get that one because the cheapest they had it for was 33% off, and that was more than £20. I did manage to pick up some great games at very, very cheap prices. Now, the first of those was something that I've already got on the Xbox, but I've now got the chance to play it on my Mac, and at £1.74, I couldn't resist picking up this one.
It's over! The fight is over! The mysterious stranger has won! Gerlach losing to a rookie. Is this a sign that his injuries have finally caught up with him? Or is the mysterious stranger for real? Only time will tell!
It's Knights of the Old Republic. And this is a game that I would definitely recommend to anyone. If you're a Star Wars fan, it's worth playing through. It's a very good story. You get to explore someone learning about their connection to the Force, and then you get to choose whether you want to go down the dark side path or the side of light. Also, even if you're not a fan of Star Wars and you like the Mass Effect series, it's worth checking out for that reason, because you can see the roots of Mass Effect in this game. It's a BioWare title. Just all round good game, and at £1.74, you can't really complain at that price. So if you see it at the next Steam sale, which I'm sure it will be at a similar price, it's worth picking up. Now, the next couple of games I got were things that I probably primarily picked them up because of the ridiculously cheap prices of them. The first of them is a puzzle platformer called Toki Tori, which I found out afterwards has previously been released on the Wii and was quite well received. But the first thing that made me look at it was because the character looks a little bit like the Kiwi from New Zealand Story, and I'm a big fan of that game. I loved it many years ago playing it on the Amiga. But this game was only 34p. I think it was 90% off, which is just ridiculous. But even if I don't get to play it, I've only wasted 34p. Now, the other one that I picked up was something that I have looked at before in the past and thought about getting. I think it was only £2.99 before, but this time it was 67p, so I couldn't really let it pass me by. And it's a game called Home. It's a psychological horror about a guy who wakes up in a house and he's lost his identity, doesn't know who he is, and obviously there's a mystery surrounding that, and you've got to find clues to discover who you are. And it's done in a 8-bit graphical style. So it's Yeah, it's a very interesting game. I've only played about 20 or 30 minutes of it, but I'm pretty sure it's something that I will play through to completion. Now, after those two came a couple of packs of adventure games which were very good value for money. The first of those was the LucasArts bundle. Now, this takes me back to kind of Amiga and early PC gaming for me. Especially the two Indiana Jones games, well, the first of the two Indiana Jones games in particular that are part of that pack. I loved playing those games, and I look forward to going through them again. But it was also one of the other two games of the four, which is The Dig. I'd heard rumours that it was originally going to be a movie, but they figured it would be too expensive, and so they decided to make it into an adventure game instead. Yeah, and I really want to play through that one. I've had a quick look at it. I've installed it and loaded it up, and it seems a little bit slow to begin with, but I will press on and play through that game because I am intrigued by what it has to offer. The other game on there, Loom, I'm not too sure about, but I'm sure I'll check it out at some point. Now, all of those games are playable on the Mac, which is very cool because then I don't have to boot up Windows to play it, as are two of the games in the next pack that I got. Oh, the LucasArts pack was £3.49, by the way, which is a bit of a bargain for 4 games. The other one was even better value for money, and that is the Broken Sword Trilogy. Now, I haven't played any of these games, but I've heard very good things about them, and I think in many ways they're similar in storyline to the Da Vinci Code. I believe the first one's something about the Templars, but it predates Da Vinci Code. It's not a Da Vinci clone. And for £1.99 for 3 games, yeah, I mean that just couldn't be passed by, could it? Now, I think those of you who saw my E3 roundup video, I did mention briefly that there was a game on the Wii U that caught my attention called Trine 2 that I really liked the look of and looked forward to getting when I got the Wii U. Well, I found out afterwards that it's available on other systems and it's available on PC and Mac, and it was part of the Steam sale. Now, I picked up the original Trine game for £1.74, which I've started playing and have to say I really enjoy. It's a beautiful game, really well narrated. It's kind of like a fairy tale as if it's being told by a wizard, and it plays really well. Side-scrolling platform adventure game, awesome. And £1.74 for that first one. The sequel was a little bit more expensive at £2.99, but again, I've heard good things about that, and I'm looking forward to, once I've completed the first one, to start on the second. So yeah, very happy with those purchases. But the next game is something that I've wanted to get for a long time, but I haven't really been prepared to pay sort of £10 or £12 that it seems to go for on the PS2, and that's Psychonauts. As I mentioned just before, that I like LucasArts adventures. Obviously, Tim Schafer has made some of the best of those. I'm a big fan of Maniac Mansion, and so I was obviously interested when I heard about Psychonauts, and I've wanted to play it for quite some time, and seeing it in the sale for £1.49, and it's now available on Mac as well as PC, I couldn't pass that one by. And I haven't played it as yet. I really want to get into that game, but it's actually the next game that I bought that has taken up the lion's share of my gaming time over the past couple of weeks, and it's this one.
It's the main event! Batman versus the most horrible, the most violent, and if I might add, downright ugly members of Black King.
Yes, Batman Arkham Asylum. Now, I'm a little bit late to the Batman party. I'm sure most of you played this game 3 years ago when it came out, and I've had it on my Xbox 360 for a while, but I was holding off to play it because, of course, there were other things that needed to be played through first. But what an awesome game it is. I mean, it's not perfect, and I will mention the flaws in a minute, but I really like the story. I mean, Batman's kind of cool. I like I like a lot of the characters that are used in this game. I like the setting, the asylum itself, but I think it's the game mechanics that are well honed. The fighting, free flow style is awesome. The attack and counter attack to chain together massive combos is so satisfying when you manage to achieve a high number in that. It's as good as any fighting game I've played before, but it's only just an element of this game. Also, the slick movement of Batman, his grapple gun and his gliding abilities make it really enjoyable just to run around the landscape and explore it. So yeah, there's not a lot wrong with this, especially when I only paid £2.49 for it. I mean, I'd already paid £5 for it on the Xbox 360, so in total I've only spent £7.50 on Arkham Asylum, and it's well worth that. The only flaw that it's really got, and it's something that I felt about the first Assassin's Creed game as well, is that it's very repetitive in what you have to do. In this game, you fight characters, like henchmen, then you get a boss, and then there'll be some kind of detective work where you follow a trail around and it leads to another boss fight, and it seems to be kind of repeat, but everything within it is done so well that it doesn't grate on you too much, and the game is long enough but not too long that it doesn't bore you. At least it didn't for me. I was really excited to play all the way through it, and even when I'd finished it, I still went back and found all of the Riddler's trophies and the riddles that I'd missed. And even beyond that, there are challenge modes as well, fighting modes, and yeah, still played those, and I'm still playing through those because I haven't quite completed them all. So there's still a little bit more life to get out of Arkham Asylum, but I also picked up Arkham City. Now that was only £4.99, and I've played through a few hours of it, but it seems like they've taken everything that was good about Arkham Asylum and expanded upon it and given you a much wider world. What I've played of it so far, I've really enjoyed. It's a fantastic game. So I'm looking forward to getting on and playing a bit more of that, which I will do in a minute. But there was one more game that I purchased, and unfortunately out of all of them that I bought, it's the only one that really felt like a bit of a waste of money, and that's this one. Good one. So that's Counter-Strike Global Operations, and as I said, it kind of feels like a bit of a waste of money for me personally, because I've already got Counter-Strike Source and the original Counter-Strike, and there doesn't really seem to be much in the way of an evolution of gameplay. It just feels like the graphics have been updated, they've chucked in a couple of new weapons, obviously there are some new maps, and they've taken some of the gameplay modes that, although were not originally part of the core game, you could play them on servers that people set up, things like the gun game, for example. And when I compare this to things like the two Batman games at $2.49 and $4.99, paying $5.99 for this game doesn't really seem like the same kind of value for money, but it's still good. It's only $5.99. I shouldn't really complain. But I think it would have been better for me to wait for that to also come down to 75% off rather than buying it at 50% off. Now, you might be thinking watching this, well, this is a bit late for me. The Steam sale was a couple of weeks ago. I've missed out on all of these things. Well, it's good to bear in mind because they're going to have another sale. Probably they'll have one in January. Definitely they'll have one at Easter, because a lot of the games that I bought in the last sale were still available at the same price in this sale. So things like the 2 Left 4 Dead games, The Witcher, Counter-Strike, Choplifter HD, things that I got at 75% off, again, were the same price. So the things that you've seen here today, I'm sure, next sale, they'll be the same price. So hold on and get them then. So hopefully this has been interesting. Thank you very much for watching. From my spare room to wherever you are, this is Simon signing off. Bye-bye.